practice?
Yeah, no. First of all, I feel awful for Zylstra. My gosh, man. He had the injury 2 years ago. That was a tough one. That was a tough injury that he fought his way back from, and then you saw what he was able to do for us. He was a pivotal part of our success last year once we started turning the corner. And he just does everything right, man. He works. He's a grinder, and then this one happens, and so you know hearts with him. And honestly, it shouldn't have happened. No, we're not okay with that, and it's been addressed. So, these things happen. The physicality of the game, the pads, but that was preventable. That's not what we do. So, and believe me, Khalil feels awful too. We get that, but we got to take care of each other. We still have to be physical. We got to work each other. We got to compete, but we still have to take care of each other. So that was, we talked about it, and we move on.
The tight end room, Sam seemed to disappear from practice at the end of that day. Is he dealing with anything of concern?
No, he just had a little bit of a ankle. He'll be back out there today, running around. So see how he feels with it.
What about the competition? I know it's really early, Dan, but between Romo and Patterson, just what you liked about both those guys, where that competition maybe sits 10 days into practice?
Yeah, it's been good. We all know that, Riley, there's a steadiness about him. And I would say this about Riley, one of the things that we've noticed that's really shown up from 2 years ago when we kind of parted ways is he's got a stronger leg as it pertains to kickoffs. Like his kickoffs are much better. He's getting more hang time. He's getting more depth. He's been pretty steady on field goals, so it's good. And then Romo, as we know, man, he's got a massive leg. And his will always be just a little bit of working that accuracy and control, which we kind of know that. It's about, just competing and developing and getting a little bit better. But we like those two guys. We do.
And this camp, being decided maybe what they do in games?
Could be, yeah. I mean, there's nothing that would necessarily tip you one way or another right now. We're letting them, we're letting them compete.
Looking to see from Jameson Williams leading up to the preseason games?
Yeah, I would say this, man. And I told him this back in the spring. You want to feel like by the end of camp, man, there's a level of polish. Man, the splits, the route depth, you want to begin to feel like there's a lot of polish to detail, and that he's got this pretty good rapport with golf by the time he leaves. Because I think if we can get there, I don't think it'll take very long to pick it back up once he comes back. So I think that's the next step. And I go back to this. And it's not an excuse, but he hasn't practiced. I mean, he didn't practice last year. He came in during the year, and we kind of had a couple plays for him here and there. But it's not like this is his first significant time to get. And then he was hurt last week, kind of. So, man, the longer we can keep him on the field and just keep working through these things, he'll get better. But I would say that's the answer.
And he has such rare explosion. You just don't see that kind of speed and change direction. It stands out. But the one thing also that stands out is there's a lot of balls on the ground, whether it's against air defenders. It seems to be a consistent issue with him. What does he have to do to kind of correct that? Because that's not a missing practice thing for a receiver.
Sure. Those they show up, and that's something that we've talked about with him, and he knows that too. I think, man, working, his hand mechanics. He's got to work those pre-practice. He's got to work them post-practice. And I mean, really, he just got to grind on it. And even then, it's not, it'll never be probably like one of these elite, pass catchers that you've seen it. But it'll be just fine with his speed and what he's able to do. But there's a number of things he can clean up with it. And I think it's just, man, time on task, work through it. Because honestly, there are some things that just a simple change of the way your hands are by ball location, pinky to pinky, thumb to thumb, that'll go a long way for him. And so we just got to keep working through it, Justin. We just got to keep working through it.
He's just always been faster and better than everyone. So
Yeah, he can run, and he's been able to create so much separation where he came from that it was, that wasn't as big of a deal. Well, in this league, you're getting contested catches, but I think that's why I brought up the details of his routes with his speed. The more he can really hone in on the details, his explosive speed, man, there'll be a level of separation, you'd like to believe, different than most, to where it's not always going to be these contested catches. So there's a little give and take there.
Coach, what will be the importance of getting J-Mo those reps in the preseason games?
It's going to be huge. I mean to cut you off. Are you done with that, or are you going to keep going?
All you.
It'll be imperative. I mean, we're gonna douse him with a ton of game reps. He needs that, he needs that, as he does practice. But man, and I'm telling you, as with anybody, the more reps he gets, the more time on tests, the more consecutive practices and reps he can put together, he'll just grow. I really believe that, and I do believe he wants it. I do believe he wants to get better. I do believe. So he'll grind through this, and let's see where we can go with it.
I asked AG about him the other day, but Julian Aquara has kind of forgotten man a little bit in the outside linebacker spot. And just what does he need to do this preseason to earn some time?
Consistency. Consistency, and that's really always been that for him, and which we've talked about as well with him. Is he's a flash player, man. He does something really impressive, and then it just kind of reverts back at times. He doesn't use what he's been taught, and so he's just got to continually put on tape what he's been taught, and those little flash plays, they have to become the norm. We're at the point now, we're year 3 with him, us. And so those things got to show up every time because he's too talented. He just is. And I would say that's it, consistency.
Wondering the update on Peninsula, will he be out there?
He'll be out there. He's cleared.
Did you get the whatever paperwork needs to be sorted out to get in the new tight end?
Yeah, we did. And actually, we're going to have a couple of new guys out there today and get a look at them. So.
All tight ends? Or?
Yeah, both tight ends.
Denzel Mims out there for a little bit, some kind of practices. What have you liked about him?
I like Mims. Here's the first thing that shows up to me, aside from the size, because he is, he's kind of an imposing figure for a receiver out there at X. But man, he's physical. You get up there and press him, and it shows up. Like, it's different. He can fight out there. He can battle versus press. And here's the other thing I love. He's never been a special teams guy. We told him from day one, man, you got to do some things. We need to see if you can do some things on teams. And to his credit, a guy who's never really done it, I mean, he's out here. He's going. And Phip and I were talking about him last night. We're watching these clips. I'm like, this guy's just competing, and now he's got a ways to go. He's raw in some things. We don't know. But, man, I appreciate the fact the guy has come in and doing everything. He said he would. He said, Coach, I'll do whatever, and I'll give you whatever I got. And he's doing it. So I respect the heck out of that. He's somebody that I'm really, man, I want to see if he can take another step, and there's some things he can do for us on offense.
And stuff for a sec, just since obviously you lost Dilsher, I know you talked about that before it was dinged up. Are those injury-related moves? Are you searching for something else?
Yeah, I would say, well, obviously the one is injury-related. The other is let's upgrade the competition. So.
How do you think the group has performed, the top guys, I guess, as a whole so far, Laporta, Mitchell?
As a group, we're pleased. Because Mitchell just quietly gets better and better. Brock is somebody we trust. There's a high level of trust with him because he just doesn't – he's always going to be where he's supposed to be, and he's going to give you all he's got. And so, we've built a 3-year trust with him that just, there's nothing would tell us you can't trust the guys. So, and then Laporta's come, he's getting better. He's developing. And so was Zylstra. That's why it hurts to lose him. I hate it for him.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks.